What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Honda Grom clone. Gonna be honest, I did not think I would be filming any more videos on this bike, but here we are. We are cruising around my buddy Jake's property off of the streets simply because I'm not tagged and insured for the streets right now. So just putting around this place, having some fun. We can rip up and down the road, but today's video is about gearing. So I don't know if you guys know, we'll go uphill so I can demonstrate here, but here's first gear. First gear, we're at 5 grand going 10 miles an hour and revs out at about 15 miles an hour. Second gear revs out at about 25. Third gear starting to rev out at like 42, 43. And we'll go back downhill here, see where our fourth gear tops out. That's our last gear, so we'll do some, I don't know, 3 top speed runs down this hill. Well, actually, we'll probably do one down it, one up it, and then another one down it. But this is the stock gearing, which is a 14 tooth up front, and I want to say a 37 in the rear, but I'm not entirely sure, so don't take my word for it. Still letting this puppy warm up right now, so we're gonna take it easy on it for just a second here. Oh man, I missed this little thing. This thing's a riot. Oh my god, it crackles so much. It's so funny. I think we're gonna have to do a little bit of off-roading here. Send her up here. Woo! Oh yeah. Alright, we're doing that one more time. Now I gotta get a little bit more air. Woo! Alright, enough riding the Grom like a dirt bike. It's kind of what got me in this situation to begin with. If you guys didn't know, I actually sold the Grom. Long story short, I sold it. The buyer wasn't happy. They brought it back. I gave them their money back, and I put a new engine in it. But we'll talk about that in another video. I'm going to do a 2-year ownership review video. By now, this thing is warmed up, so let's do our top speed run. Fully pinned, 4th gear, downhill. Alright, we hit 60. I'm sure we could get her up a little bit past 60 on the stock gearing, but you guys saw that. We were moving. Alright, let's see what we can get up to uphill. This is a pretty big grade. Pretty steep grade, I should say. Alright, here we go. Talking. Come on, we can get more than 40 knot. Alright, 50. 52. Alright, 52 uphill was the most I could hit. We'll do one more downhill run, see what we can get out of her. I miss this thing. It's so f***ing light. You can just toss it. Like, it's crazy how nimble it is. Alright, here we go. Yeah, I don't want to come around this corner any quicker. That's about as fast as I can get going down this hill, so we'll leave it there for now. I don't know what's going on with the school. It's kind of weird. Corona stuff. Alright, once we get back up the hill, I want to do some stunting around. I mean, I'm by no means good at wheeling. I can wheelie on a mountain bike and a little bit on a dirt bike, but I'm not very skilled. So we're going to see what we can do with the stock gearing. I'm interested to see how it changes when we go up to the 17 tooth. Alright, 2nd gear. Oh god, it's just, I don't know, this engine just doesn't pull hard enough. Oh. This is like such poor wheelie form. People are gonna be like, why are you throwing your weight back like that? Oh god. All right, so second gear, I don't know, it just doesn't have the right ratio. First gear here. First gear will pop it up. Yeah, no, I'm terrible at wheeling, especially on this thing. I don't know, it just feels weird to me, but that's that. I guess we should do a little acceleration test. Let's do, what's a good test? 0 to 30, 0 to 40. Let's see what both of those numbers look like. Obviously don't have a way to time it, but I'll do it on screen. 3, 2, 1. That was a terrible first to second shift, but oh, there's 40. One final acceleration test. Here we go. Alright, that's 50. These new buildings are sweet. Really intrigued to see what happens to this place. Very nice property. Yeah, we're just bringing her in. A little downshift. Downshift. Come on. We be stunt riding now. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So I'm now going to show you guys how to change your gearing on your Honda Grom clone, but the process is going to be the same on any dirt bike, any pit bike. So, got the trusty John Deere toolbox. Shout out Uncle Tom if you're watching this video. Thanks for the toolbox. Still got her. So, all you're gonna need to swap out your gearing, 17mm socket for the nut on your rear axle, a 14mm box wrench to go along with your 17mm socket, just to hold your axle still. We don't have to remove the axle, of course. We just have to loosen it so that the axle can slide easily. And then to adjust our chain adjusters, you're gonna need a 13mm. If you have two 13mm, that's ideal. If not, that's fine. You can use a 1/2 inch. Like I'll be using, and we'll use these to adjust the nuts on our chain adjuster. In addition, you'll also want a 10mm socket and an 8mm socket. The 8mm is to remove our front sprocket cover, and the 10mm is to remove our front sprocket lock nuts. And of course, you're gonna want your new sprocket. So I've got myself here a 428 size 17 tooth front sprocket. So 428 is the chain size. A lot of pit bikes will have a 420 chain. This has a 428, it's a little bit beefier. So first things first, we're gonna take our 17mm and our 14mm. I'm gonna hold this side still, and I'm gonna loosen the other side. You don't have to loosen it all the way off, just to the point that it can slide and move easily. And we'll grab our two smaller box wrenches, and we'll hold the inner nut still. We'll break the outer nut loose, back that off. I'm gonna run it all the way down to the end of the threads here to give us the most room possible, and run the other one down as well. Loosening these will give the chain more slack. Tightening this will take away some slack. I'm gonna do the same thing I just did here on the other side. Now I'm gonna toss on my 8mm socket, remove our cover. As you can see here, removing that cover exposes our front sprocket. That's where our 10mm comes into play. We have two 10mm bolts that hold on this little locking piece right here. Loosening and removing those will allow us to remove the little locking piece right here. Pulling that off will allow you to remove the sprocket, just like so. So there's our stock front sprocket, 14 tooth, and here's our new 17 tooth. So side by side, you can see there's actually a pretty substantial difference. Now when I thought about upgrading this 14 tooth, I was like, oh, maybe I can go up to a 15 tooth, maybe a 16. And then I saw this 17 tooth on vaderparts.com, and I actually found the same one on Amazon for like $8. I want to say it was like $8, and it came with new hardware as well, which is crazy. So for 10 bucks, we're gonna see what we can squeeze out of this bike. But something amazing, super sweet that I found out about this bike. Usually when you upgrade your gearing, or upsize your gearing, you're gonna have to get a new chain, or at least add some links in, but you usually don't do that. You usually get a new chain, and then you cut it to size. And if you downsize your gearing, you're gonna have to downsize your chain. However, because of the amount of length on our chain adjusters, you can install this 17 tooth sprocket without installing a new chain. I actually ordered a new 428 chain sitting in the garage, but I was astounded to find out that loosening your chain adjusters all the way and hitting the rear wheel to shift the axle forward, that gives us enough room with the stock chain length to squeeze this 17 tooth front sprocket right on there without purchasing a new chain. So we don't have to pull off the old chain, we don't have to mess around with cutting it, reinstalling the new one, get our hands all gross. All you have to do is loosen your chain adjusters and you're good to go. So we're gonna reinstall this little locking piece in our two 10 millimeters, reinstall our cover, and then I'll see you back at the chain adjusters. Now I should note, in a perfect world, I would have remembered to bring Loctite, but you should apply Loctite to these two 10 millimeters just to make sure that they don't come out because it is a metal to metal connection there. All right, so back at the rear wheel here, you can see we have a ton of chain slop. That's simply because I gave myself as much room to work here as possible. So we're now gonna take our 13 millimeter until our chain is at a comfortable tension. Once you've achieved your desired chain tension, put one of your box wrenches on the inner nut, hold it still, and then tighten the other nut, and that'll lock that in place. Now we just tighten down our axle, and we're ready to rip. Oh man, I am so excited to try this out. Now, on my Yamaha WR250, when I changed my gearing, I upsized my rear sprocket, which lowered the gearing for better off-road use, and it started screwing up my odometer. It was tacking on more miles than I was actually doing. Now, in this bike's case, as you can see here, we actually have a front wheel mounted system with a cable that goes up, and that's how the speedometer and odometer works, so it doesn't have to do the gearing. Kind of a superior setup in that regard, so we don't have to worry about that, and our speed reading is going to be consistent with our previous speed readings. So let's do this thing. Oh man, I'm excited. Here we go. Oh wow, look at that. First gear is already so much longer. We'd be revving out right now, but we're not. And we can go all the way. Hold on, she needs to warm up a little bit before we get all the way up in the, oh my guys. This is what the bike needed. This is what the bike wanted. This is pretty sweet. So, before we get into top speed runs and ripping, let's see where we rev out now. If you guys remember from last time, we were revving out in first gear at 15 miles an hour. Second gear, we were revving out at 25. Third gear, we were revving out at, I think, 42. So, let's see what we get out of it now. First gear, 21. Second gear, 35, 36. Oh my god, we gotta get going downhill for third gear. Guys, oh my, I probably wouldn't have sold this thing so early if I knew it could handle this gearing. This is sick. Alright, second gear, pretty good acceleration. Third gear. Oh my god. We're getting over 50 miles an hour out of third gear. And fourth gear, we're getting, oh my god. I need to start all the way at the top and like really hammer down. It doesn't accelerate as quickly as to be expected. But man, what a good improvement. I really believe this bike was geared far too short from the factory. 14 tooth was way too small. This 17 tooth is, wow. This is a different bike now. Like, this is crazy. See what we can hit going uphill. We don't have as much acceleration, but come on, you can do better than that. I'm pinning it third gear, and we're at 48, 49. on, baby. 50. 52. That's funny. Third gear with the new gearing got us to the same point that fourth gear did with the stock gearing. I really wish I could take this out on Route 1 and just hammer down and see how fast it would go now. I bet this thing will do like 70. We're not gonna, I don't know if we're gonna get her up to 70 down this hill. Alright, here we go, people. Let's see what we can get out of her. .63. I don't know, this corner is just sketchy to take any faster than that, really. I'll give her another shot. Yeah, second gear we lost a lot of torque. Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to wheelie in second now. Interested to see what wheeling in first gear is like. But yeah, third gear, look at this, we're cruising. Like this would be cruising around in my town, like downtown. We'd be cruising in third gear, as opposed to before, I was right up to fourth gear right away. Like no matter what street I was on, I would be in fourth gear unless I was in like very slow traffic or something. This gearing makes a lot more sense. Let's see what we can get out of it. Yeah, I don't know. This corner is just, I don't know, kind of sketchy. And I don't really want to run into a truck. It's kind of my fear. The crazy thing is, right now in first gear, like, it's not struggling to start from a stop. So if the case could allow it, I'm not sure if the case would allow much bigger than a 17. You could probably go up to an 18, and you could even downsize your rear sprocket to get more speed out of this thing. Because it's, yes, it's struggling up this relatively large hill, but if you use the gears, you can squeeze a lot more speed out of this thing with some better sprockets. My thought is, the manufacturers that made this, they probably geared it like a dirt bike for off-road, because that's what they're used to manufacturing. They only started making these a few years ago. Alright, we'll swing wide this time. .64. I'm sure I could get it to 70 if I had ample room. But I think purely for usability of the lower speed and keeping the revs low, like, this is beautiful. I can actually cruise without the revs being all the way up in the air, which I hated doing. I would always go riding with Andrew, and he's on a WR450. I can't keep up with him for shit, and I'm just sitting there like, fuck, I wish I had a fifth gear on this thing. And I think this gearing, it makes up for not having a fifth gear. This completely changes the game of this bike. I sort of saw this bike as a toy before, but with this gearing, it's a lot better. Ooh, we're scraping the pegs, boys. We're getting low. We're getting low. Yeah, acceleration on the top end in 4th gear, very slow. I don't think we're gonna squeeze much more out of it on this downhill. If the turn wasn't there, it would be a different story, but shoot the gap, do some stunting. This is why I love the Grom. Whoop. Whoop. Nothing is this maneuverable. Love this little bike. Let's try stunting. First gear is a lot better for wheelies. Well, hold on. Kind of. Ooh, what do we have here? A little slip and slide for the kids. This looks like a pretty gnarly slip and slide, guys. Run and jump over that rail. Just send it down this thing. Jeez. Wonder what's back here. Just drainage. Uh-oh. Riding my Grom like a dirt bike again. Somebody stop me. Someone stop me. But that goes to show usability in terms of, you know, versatility off-road is still there. Can still mess around, have fun with that stuff, and we gained a lot of usability on the street. So overall, I think this is a huge improvement to the bike. I highly recommend considering spending the 10 bucks and the 10 minutes it takes to swap out your front sprocket, because it has made a tremendous difference in the usability of this bike. I really hated how it rode before in terms of like getting speed out of it on the street. It just wasn't there, and it was revving out, it was overheating. That's probably why I had an oil leak on the first bike, because hold on, let me simulate what it was like with the stock gearing. This was me at about 45-50 miles an hour all day long, all day. So I'm sure the seals in my engine did not appreciate that. They probably got fried, and that's why the first engine had oil leaks. So yeah, I highly recommend checking this out. I'm just rambling on now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you are excited, oh my god, for some more Grom content coming soon. Ton of moto vlogs coming out on the WR250. Please go smash that like button down below. Subscribe for more content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time on JD Cars.